I wanted to be that trap. So I put on my best maid outfit. I got ready for the day and said, damn, he's gonna love it when he sees me.
So Sparky, I'm excited. Are you excited?
Oh gosh. Oh gee, Rick. I'm super excited.
Do you know why I'm excited?
Why are you excited?
Because this is the first episode of Baka's Watch.
The first episode!
Le premier étage.
Loki just went Super Saiyan.
So in case you didn't know this by now, my name is Moose, and right over here is Sparky.
I am Sparky, and I am King. I don't know.
No, more like a jester. Because you're a fool.
Cue fake laughter.
Cue audience track.
What if I just for the casts, what if I just say stuff like that and force you to edit it in or cut it out?
I think we need to get a soundboard. I mean, Christmas is coming up.
Ooh, that would be a good idea too.
Man, those things are expensive. I'm not made of money.
More reasons why I'm getting a PC. Well, you could always just pull up
I mean, yeah, I could do
soundboards on the internet.
An online soundboard. Do they even have those?
You don't remember messing around with the fart soundboards?
Okay, that's something else. That's something that you can find on Newgrounds. They don't have that anymore.
I miss Newgrounds so much.
Oh my god, Newgrounds was the shit. Oh, they don't have it anymore.
There's so many good times. That game with the turtle and you shot him out of a cannon and you fucking you had to upgrade the cannon, whatever. But anyways, yeah, so how are you doing, Moose?
I'm doing terrific. How are you doing, Sparky?
I'm recovering.
Actually, I was just about to say that is a lie. And speaking of lies, we will get into that later on in the podcast. So for those of you first timers, because this is technically our first time too. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. We didn't totally not do an episode 0 that we kind of fucked up.
Yeah, we didn't record an episode 0 that might be out later if we get bored and have a day off and
totally
throw out some content.
So the main premise of this podcast is we're gonna talk for the first half hour to an hour. We're just gonna shoot the shit. We're gonna talk about topics that maybe you guys want to hear about, maybe you don't want to hear about. Most likely that second option, right?
Yeah, most of the times it's going to be topics that you guys just want to throw into our heads, like what's your favorite brand of pizza, and then we go on a rant about why Papa John's is not better than Little Caesars, but
bro, homemade all the way. You got to go homemade.
I was talking more about
delivery.
Yeah.
Well, what about DiGiorno?
It's not delivery; it's DiGiorno.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Yeah, and then in the second half of the podcast, we're gonna review an anime that we will either see together or recommend the other to watch.
Yeah, so the way the podcast is set up is, like Moose was saying, it's an hour of just us shooting the breeze, getting questions in, whether it's our own questions or questions that you guys tell us. And then after that, we'll do the anime review on an anime that we watched during the week. And then after that, we'll drop the anime that either you guys requested us to watch, or for right now, just animes that we wanted to pick out and watch because I don't know about you, Moose. Screw your feelings. I need a recovery week.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. After we ended the Discord call last night, I got a little emotional, a little sentimental. I never cried. I never broke the seal. I teared up, definitely. My face was leaking. But I never full on ugly cried like you did. I heard you.
You heard me?
I heard you. That's why I was really trying not to cry. It was God damn it, gotta stay strong.
Damn it. Well, now I feel like a bitch.
Well, no, I teared up. I'll admit, I teared up. I'm a man. I cried, but I didn't cry.
Real men.
I felt empathy. Secondhand empathy.
Real men cry.
Yeah.
But it's okay. Yeah, we'll get into that later though. So, I guess for the first hour or half hour, however long it takes us, we're just gonna go over our backgrounds and talk about, simple stuff, how we met, what animes we watch, what waifus are truly top S tier.
Oh boy, this again.
Just crazy stuff. Just some crazy stuff. Yeah, this again.
Love
just
me,
some
my
crazy
waifus.
stuff. Yeah, just to kind of,
the
let you guys get a
only
feel for
girls
how we
that
are.
care for me.
The only girls that care for me. But yeah, just to kind of get you guys a feel of who we are, where we come from, how we met,
Just trying to
stuff
cop a
like
feel.
that. Yeah, just trying to cop a feel of our lives. So, so first we'll talk about how we met, because you probably remember this more than I do.
Oh yeah.
The only thing I remember is we met in 2017, and the first game that we played, the first time I heard Moose's voice.
Oh, back in the day. Have you ever heard?
Back in the day.
So, Sparky, do you remember back in the day? There was this great game. It was a beautiful game. It was so fun. You probably have never heard of it. It was called Fortnite.
Oh
have you ever heard of it?
So good. I think I've maybe dabbled in it a couple times, but I definitely remember the early stages.
Yeah, I think it was around. It was. I think it was before they even did their like seasons.
This was like early beta form, like Fortnite.
Well, because I had the game back when it was still just survival. Back when it was fun. And then through a mutual friend of ours that I met through college, I ended up getting integrated into your current friend group. Which for me at first felt a little bit awkward because I have no idea who the hell any of you guys were. But then as time went on, I slowly grew accustomed to you guys, and I slowly melted into your group, in my opinion. At least I think so.
So Fortnite might have been the first game we all played together.
Yeah.
Which, again, early Fortnite clearly definitely outranks the dumb stuff that goes on now.
Oh yeah, after season 2, it just went downhill.
Oh yeah, downward spiral.
Quick.
But
I think Sully was the game director. Captain Sully. I think he was the game director of Fortnite, considering how much of a downward spiral it went.
But the first impression that I had for you was, oh, you guys play Rocket League? Well, I have a guy who I'm friends with who used to play pretty close to professional level of Rocket League.
Yes.
And I was like, well, get him the hell in here. We need to see him.
Yeah.
And that's when that started.
I don't want to talk about that. Those are dark days in my college years. Playing
what's funny?
Semi-professional Rocket League on the collegiate level.
You know what's funny is that I used to think that I was really good at Rocket League, sitting at Gold 3.
Oh, that's average.
Or Gold Prospect back when it was a thing.
Back when it was like Prospect Challenger.
Yeah, I used to think that was like hot, and then you came in with your Plat 2, and I was like, oh boy, or Plat 2, Plat 3. I was like, oh man, all right, well, I can't.
That's still considered low. That's considered low for me now, because the last time we played Rocket League, I was high diamond, low champ, and you were mid to low diamond, I think.
Yeah, I was always bouncing back between D1 and D2. I can't with some of the guys on that game, but yeah, that's how that was my first impression of you. That's how I basically was like, oh well, this guy's something.
My first impression of you was I thought you were the core of that friend group. Like everyone kind of like there's like these like little cliques in our friend group. I don't want to name names, but everyone was always like friends with you. Like you were the core, I guess you could say.
And it's funny because that's how I don't want to say that's how I've seen it because egomaniac alert, but
I was gonna if you were gonna say it, I was going to.
Well, because I was gonna say like ever since high school, that's kind of what people have labeled me as is the core of the group. Like everybody has their own like friends and everything. Everybody obviously clicks with each other like differently.
Yeah.
But like no matter what, like when I was brought into my high school friend group, I was like seen as the core too. Like everybody just meshed with me. Like I was always like, I wasn't the big papa, but I was definitely the gum that stuck all of the bacteria together.
Love it when you call me Big Papa.
Put your hands in the air if you a true player. But yeah, I was always like that in my high school, and then I don't know. I've never with this group. I kind of never thought about it like that. But I mean, I would assume that I get along with everybody pretty well. I mean, everybody kind of has their bickers back and forth, but I've never really had like, other than that one instance, I've never really had like a back and forth with like somebody inside the friend group.
I mean, we've had a back and forth about baseball a few times.
Oh yeah, but it was never like,
it was never like,
stop talking to
you.
How dare you shit on Big Poppy? I'm never gonna talk to you ever again.
Hey,
ever.
Don't you dare! You can't utter his name.
And then cue the redemption arc. So, yeah, I mean,
yeah. So like my first impression of you is that, but then you also came across as a little bit of an ego. But I guess everyone in this group kind of has an ego. So like, I'll admit, even I do sometimes.
You gotta have an ego.
You gotta have an ego. You can't be pussyfooted like that protagonist, like every anime protagonist.
I'm gonna love taking a fat dookie on him.
Oh god, I'm
going to absolutely love it.
Yeah, I thought of some words to say last night too.
Yeah.
Yes.
But so that's how we met.
Yeah, but would you say that we were like friends when we were just playing Rocket League and Fortnite? Because we only knew each other online.
Yeah, I kind of like. So we'll get into that because I know you wanted to talk about that last night too. Online friends versus real life friends. So the way that I look at it is, and I look at it from a very general standpoint, I think online friends and IRL friends, the only difference is that sometimes the online friends, you can't hang out with them, you can't see them because they're friends you make online. So like, you could be friends with somebody like with you, like you could be friends with somebody who's like 3-4 hours away from where I am.
Yeah.
But we could still, hang out every now and again. But the way that I looked at it is that everybody's my acquaintance until we actually like bond.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like we are either acquaintances or really good acquaintances until the moment where I see your face and you see my face. Then we're friends.
And we've all had our moments in the group with with BS that we've had to go through.
Oh yeah.
And everybody kind of being there for everybody. That's kind of like my like
mostly.
I guess. Yeah, mostly. That's kind of like my testing waters. Like, I don't think there's been a single person in our group that hasn't been there for me through some BS. And that's when I kind of like knew how tight we were. Like through over the three years going on 4. Like that's when I knew that we were all kind of just really good friends.
Yeah, when's that year 4 update coming out for our friendship?
Yeah, I know. When the 2.15 hits.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie. Like when the day we first met, when we went to that baseball game together, and I was driving down from where I live, I'm not gonna lie. I was like wicked nervous because like obviously I've heard all of you guys' voices, but I never really put like a face to the name. Right. I mean, I think we exchanged like Snapchats and we might have like FaceTimed a bit. But like that's different than meeting face to face and seeing what people are actually like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember I was so nervous, and then I parked I parked across the street from you, and I was just sitting in my car, and I saw your dad park right across from me, like literally right across from me. And I think he was just staring at me. And I saw he had the baseball hat on. So I was like, okay, so he's probably somebody that we're going to the game with, I'm assuming. And then I saw this little scrawny kid. No offense.
Thank you.
I
put on weight since then, so it's okay.
Yeah. Oh, I've noticed. I have too. It's
Thank
okay.
you.
I was feeling my boobs in the shower this morning. And I just see you walk out, and I'm like, oh shit, is that him? Is that Sparky? And then I just see your dad look at me, point, and then you look, and then you just give a little hand sign. I was like, okay, that's them. And then I just had to cross traffic in like one of the most dangerous places in America.
Oh my god, that's right. You parked in the lot next door.
Yeah.
You parked in the little child daycare across the street. That's funny.
Don't say that. The FBI might want to know my location.
Well, the FBI already knows my location, so big Big Bubber is always watching.
Big Bob.
Yeah. Big Bubber.
But I think that day is what solidified like our friendship, for me at least.
Yeah, and my dad in his little sports car taking us.
That my heart couldn't take.
Yeah, seriously. Like I was like enjoying myself, and then I almost forgot that you have a heart condition. So I was like, oh,
Yep.
well, that's good. That's great.
Yeah, no, that to me was like the same level as riding on a roller coaster. Was your dad going like 90 on the highway? Or it felt like it because of the wind.
But I guess that's that for the backgrounds.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to input?
I mean, no, not really. I mean, we could talk about anime, because let me say this. Forgive me, Sparky, for I have sinned. But like, while I may be like really big into anime, I did take a break from it until I knew that you and some of the other guys were watching Dragon Ball Super.
Really?
Yeah. So like, it's like as a kid, I never really distinguished cartoons from anime. Like I knew that they were different. I knew that they weren't made in America, but I was like, oh, cartoons. So the big one and I also read the mangas too as a kid. Oh, excuse me. Oof, cut that out. So I remember watching my favorite as a kid was Naruto. Like that's what really like got me like opening through and looking through the rabbit hole, like looking down into it of anime was Naruto. I watched the shit out of Naruto, and then I also read and watched some of the One Piece. Haven't finished it, never will, but I can say that I know at least like one or two arcs from One Piece.
Naruto.
Yeah, I think one of my memories of watching Naruto was I was at my grandmother's house, and I wanted to watch it. I think it was during the Chunin exam arc in the Forest of Death. And do you remember the part where they had their run-in with Orochimaru?
Yep.
Yeah, it was that part. And it was like when Orochimaru was like shedding his skin and like biting the crap out of Sasuke and like just being an evil dude.
Yep.
And my grandmother was like, I don't think you should be watching this. And she turned it off, and I got so mad. I started to cry. I was like, no, I want to know what happens.
Yeah, that was a good arc.
Yeah.
Always a big Shonen Jump Naruto guy over Shippuden.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, Shippuden has its moments, too. It's more of a mature show, I guess you could say. But
yeah,
Shonen Jump Naruto is just good, classic fun. Until the third Hokage dies.
What started me off was just Toonami. I mean,
yeah, Toonami was big. That's where I watched Naruto.
So you know how you have like, you set bedtimes as a kid?
Oh, yeah, I hated it.
So my dad used to put us to sleep when I lived in Staten Island for like at 8 or 9 o'clock because school nights and whatever. But then when I would get back to my mom's house for the weekend, like I would watch Toonami because I would be up all night because I was like, well, shit, I don't have a bedtime now, so I can do whatever I want. I am independent. So I would stay up from 12 to 6 a.m. watching Toonami, and that was where my first exposure. I think one of the biggest animes that I got into was Boondocks. And
is that an anime? I don't think that's an anime.
I don't think it's an anime either.
No, it's.
You'd probably consider it a cartoon then.
Yeah.
So then I guess the biggest anime that I got into would probably either be Inuyasha or Bleach.
Yeah.
Naruto kind of came into the fold after, but I could also watch Naruto at 9 o'clock on Cartoon Network because they were airing it.
Yeah, I remember. I remember watching Naruto first, and then I watched some of Dragon Ball Z. Like I didn't follow it weekly, but I feel like even though I didn't like watch it every week, I feel like I watched the entirety of Dragon Ball Z just because their fights took forever sometimes.
I was gonna say, you want to know a fun fact?
Yeah, what?
Dragon Ball Super was the first Dragon Ball that I've actually watched all the way through.
Me too, and that was because you guys are all watching it. I was like, oh, I guess I'll give it a try.
And it was like, because I've seen Dragon Ball Z Kai, which is like...
That's not canon,
honest.
right?
No, it is. It's so what they did is Dragon Ball Z is like Dragon Ball Z, but it's like 500 episodes longer because there's so much filler. Dragon Ball Z Kai gets to the point and basically is remastered from Dragon Ball Z. So if you ever want to watch like good like Dragon Ball Z Kai is where you want to watch. You don't want to watch Dragon Ball Z.
I think I'm thinking of Budokai.
Maybe, yeah.
That's not canon.
But yeah, I started with that, and I've dabbled in others. Like, I used to watch the 4Kids animations on Sunday.
Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh was the shit.
Yu-Gi-Oh,
Pokemon.
God, I used to be so invested into Yu-Gi-Oh that not only did I have the cards, but I had the little dual disc too.
Oh, dude, same. I remember getting it at a yard sale. Yeah, I was so happy, and then like it broke, and I was so sad.
Yeah, that's. I wish I could find where mine was. It was so sick. I used to love playing with that thing. I used to literally carry it with me to the stores. I used to have it on my arm.
I wouldn't go that far. Like that's a little cringe.
Oh no, I was cringy. I was a very cringy kid.
Oh.
Same thing with the Beyblades.
Oh, the Beyblades.
I used to be addicted to Beyblades. I used to have the arena. I had like 3 or 4 of them. Like
there's this one kid at the daycare who always brought the arena, so we just all brought our Beyblades and we just let it rip. whenever we went outside.
Beyblade, let it rip.
Yes, I think a majority of my childhood was mostly stuff like that, like Naruto, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. Like I guess you can also include Beyblade, Dragon Ball Z.
It's Beyblade.
But then at a certain point, I think I kind of stepped away from anime. Like I took a break from it, because like while I was a huge like Naruto fan, and like I watched like a little bit of Shippuden, I just kind of I felt like I grew out of it, you know?
Yeah.
But then I had a resurgence. I like a phoenix. I arose from the ashes of my childhood. And that was in like I think senior year of high school / freshman year of college, when one of my roommates was watching Fate Zero. And I was like, hey, this shit's kind of lit.
I love Fate Zero.
Yeah, and then after I watched that, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna rewatch the entirety of Naruto Shippuden just because I can. So then I did that, and then I met our mutual friend, I guess. Or I met him before that, and then I met you. And then I started watching Dragon Ball Super, and then I fell into the rabbit hole of anime. Again.
Again.
And I think now I've seen more shows than you.
Oh, you definitely
At least shows like that I said I completed. Like, you've probably seen way more like episodes than me, just because you watch One Piece, and I don't.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually might be tied for episodes then, or you might be ahead of me. But like when I'm talking about like individual seasons or like season 2s and stuff, I think I've watched more shows.
Oh yeah, you tend to lean more towards those one season animes.
Yes, and then I get devastated when when I'm like, oh wow, this season's really great. I really hope there's a season 2. And then I look at when it was published and it was like 2007. And I get so sad. I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll never know what happens. Might as well read the manga.
Yeah, and I don't read, so.
Well, I can't read.
Well, I can't read.
SpongeBob.
But yeah, I mean, with my, like, I guess, because I had a resurgence too. So, a little information on the Sparky mantra. Like, that kind of came from my childhood. And I used to do I used to reenact like anime battles and stuff with my cousin in my backyard, you know, as any good we would do. And those moments like kind of stuck with me through high school. And I still watched anime, but not as heavily as I did in middle school. And then
same.
Once I started like meeting like everybody, because I was like, you know what, I'll put it away. Like, I'll stick with One Piece because One Piece holds a nice little spot in my heart. But I was like, you know what? I'll chill out with it. Like, I'm not gonna really do too much exploring. But then I met everybody in the friend group, and then knowing that you watched anime, I was like, oh, perfect. So that kind of helped build up my resurgence back.
Yeah, you definitely helped my resurgence a little bit too.
Yeah.
Because like I was starting to re-dabble in it, and I was like, oh, you guys watch anime? Ooh. I was like, you know what? I guess I'll watch it. And then I think you recommended to me My Hero.
Mm-hmm.
And then fuck you for doing that to me.
You're welcome.
Because now I'm all caught up in the manga, and I can't wait to see what happens in the next arc.
It's so funny when I tell you to like watch shows like Promised Neverland or that or Dr. Stone, and it's like I'm like, yeah, I can't wait for season 2, and you're just like, what are you talking? Oh, sorry, I'm already 3 light years ahead of you. I'm like, oh, all right, cool, that's great.
Okay, first of all,
cool.
That's just for Black Clover and My Hero.
Black Clover too, yeah, wow.
Just Black Clover and My Hero. Those are like the only 2 manga I'm reading that you're watching the anime. Yeah. I think I'm reading a total. Well, one just ended. I'm reading a total of like 4 manga series.
Well, pause. At this point in time, I'm not watching Black Clover because I don't have the time of day to dedicate to anime canon episodes.
The filler stopped this week, by the way. I'm pretty sure.
Did it?
Yeah. Do you remember that screenshot I sent you or that article?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the filler stopped on Tuesday. I was actually gonna watch it, but then we had more important things to do.
Yeah, I hate anime canon.
I need to watch the final episode of another anime that just reminded me. It came out yesterday, but obviously we were preoccupied yesterday.
Oh yeah, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, as far as that's my background and that's my information for anime and whatnot, how I got started. I still dabble back into the older times. Like, I'm still mad that I never really fully watched Cowboy Bebop, so I'm gonna get to that at some point. I would really love to sit down and go back and watch old Boondocks episodes and stuff. Cartoon, I know.
Yeah, I feel like we're 2 sides of a coin. Like, obviously, like, we both love anime, but I feel like you're more like, you like that nostalgic, like, classic style. Like, you want to rewatch all the old stuff. Whereas me, on the other hand, I'm watching like 4 to 5, maybe even 7 new shows every season.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is. Something about the older styled like animes, especially because they hold so well. Like Cowboy Bebop and I mean, again, a cartoon, but Boondocks, like, they were made like back when we were like maybe just little seedlings, but they still hold up pretty well compared to some of the anime that comes out today, I think.
Well,
but not just the animation, but the quality of.
Well, first of all,
the
Boondocks came out in 2005.
I would still consider myself a seedling. Well, yeah, maybe. When did Cowboy Bebop come out? 97?
Let me look it up, and it is...
I thought it was like early 90s.
98.
98? Okay, oh, my birth year.
Hey,
so
same.
Then, yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, those animes, like, and like Hellsing Ultimate, I wish I could watch Hellsing. Like, I wish I could have the drive to watch it too. Like, there's just so many good older animes that I've dabbled in, or I've watched the parodies of them. Thank you, YouTube. Like Code Geass.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I've watched with Little Karibo, but I've watched so many like parodies of these animes, and I'm just like, damn, like I really badly want to actually watch the real thing, and I really want to just sit down and do it. And it's still not like they're not bad at all. Like they're not bad quality. They still hold pretty well to today, I think. But that's me.
Yeah, I mean,
that's why I do that.
I really enjoy the newer animation styles, but obviously that's not the case for every single show. Like,
right.
Like there's a show that came out this year called Peter Grill and the Philosopher's Time, and I really want you to watch it. I gave it a 4. I really want you to watch it, but the reason I gave it a 4 was that it was like watching a slideshow. Like, there was no effort put into it. Now compare that to a show like Rent-A-Girlfriend, where like it's just there's so much detail, and like, you know how in a lot of animes, like everyone only wears like 1, maybe 2 outfits because like the mangaka only wants to draw like one like schoolgirl outfit or whatever. Hello?
Sorry, I was saying what were you saying?
God damn it. I was like, did his audio cut out? Can he hear me? We're gonna have to stop the podcast. No, it's okay. He's just being a simp.
I'm just simping. What were you saying?
You know what?
I heard something about funny girls and dresses or something.
You know what? You don't deserve that. We're gonna save this conversation for another time. This is gonna be our own debate later.
Well then.
So, shall we dive headfirst into the emotional cesspool that we started and watched yesterday, and technically today too.
You want to do that now?
Yeah.
All right.
It's been about 30 minutes.
All right. So, would you like to tell the people why I was such a bitch last night and what we watched?
Well, that's just who you are. But sorry.
Cue Roblox. Oof.
Cue the JoJo meme. Yeah, so we watched Your Lie in April last night. And I don't want to butcher the Japanese name, so I'm not going to say it. I also don't have it pulled up. But we watched Your Lie in April last night, which we surprisingly haven't seen beforehand. So this was fresh for us. This was a new experience.
You tried calling me out on that, and I was very heartbroken that you thought that I would watch this masterpiece without you.
What? Okay.
Last night you were when we were watching it. There was a point where you were like, "Oh, you definitely see this before," and I was like,
"Because you were so spot on." You're like, "Oh yeah, this is definitely gonna happen." I was like, "Bro, calm down. Like it's only episode 5."
You don't realize how many times I've cried to these animes. And I kind of can tell the direction they're going.
Oh yeah, me too, 100%.
So it's like, sometimes it's just like, and I have 8,000 theories popping into my head. Like, it still ended like the way that we thought it was going to.
Oh yeah.
But I still had like my 5 or 6 theories that would have made it totally like a fucking instant 10.
But was it? We'll find out more at 11.
Yeah, find out more at 11.
So where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the openings and endings?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right.
So, the intro, everybody knows the intro.
Opening one is by far one of the catchiest tunes I've ever listened to.
Whether you've seen the anime or not, I can guarantee you, if you have any form of social media, you have heard the intro.
Yeah, even if you watch like anime clips on YouTube, like you know those like clip channels, like they 100% have this opening as their like YouTube intros. That's where I've seen this before.
This is the most well-known intro, I think. I would put money on it to say.
Well, what about Full Metal Alchemist? This is the
most well-known. No.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood might be more well-known. Or Unravel. It might be Unravel. Because of the meme. Because I knew Unravel and the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood opening before I knew this one.
Well, this is also 2014. Brotherhood was like 2006.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. But as far as the anime community stands right now, even if you're a casual anime fan or you've watched just the mainstreams, you know this intro.
Yeah. So opening
I would be yeah.
Opening one basically sold the show to us. They were like, "Hey, like you're in for a ride. Here, enjoy it." Like you get hooked by the opening alone. Like when, especially like that part where they're all singing together and like the piano and the violins playing. It's like I get goosebumps when I listen to that. Like I only get goosebumps to like certain songs from animes, and this is one of them.
There's a song that I'm gonna play for you later when we're done doing the podcast. But that's where, I mean, and like I said, I've heard it prior to it, but that's when it kind of hit me again. Was like, oh my god, why have I heard this most recently? Have I watched this before? Have I watched this intro? But then I found the song that I heard it from, and I was like, oh yeah, all right.
Yeah, there's an ending I want to show you that you've definitely never seen this anime, but you've heard this ending. Like like without a doubt, there's no way you haven't heard it. Anyway, speaking of endings, ending 1 was kind of meh. I'm not gonna lie. Like they hit us with the sad stuff way too early. But it wasn't even like good sad, you know.
Oh, do you want to say what you gave the intros as a whole?
Yeah.
For right now.
Yeah, I was just gonna do it as a whole.
Did you separate them, intro and outro, or you kind of combine them together?
I'm kind of combining them together. So like.
All right, because I separated them, but yeah, you go.
Yeah, so like the ending 1 was kind of meh in my opinion. Like they hit us with the sad way too early. Like, it wasn't really deserved yet, and I just didn't feel for it. And then it kind of reversed when for the second half of the show. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if it's because we took a break or not, like midway through, but to me, like the first half of the show with like the first opening and the second half with the second opening were two completely different shows. It felt like two completely different themes. And I mean, I'll get more into that when we talk about the story, but that's just how it felt to me. Like, to me, I feel like we watched 2 shows yesterday. But so yeah, it kind of reversed for the second half. Opening 2 is kind of meh. Like, yeah, it has its good parts when like they're on that beach or whatever. Mm-hmm. And like, yeah, like opening 2 kind of like foreshadows a lot, and like it hits you with the feels.
Oh, that was opening 2. That's the opening 1.
I'm talking about opening 2. Opening 2 was a little bit sadder than opening 1.
I don't remember the beach part for opening 2. The only thing I remember is the end of opening 2.
Yeah, opening 2. Opening 2 was the I'm pretty sure it was the beach with like the blue and green, right?
No, that was opening 1.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah,
opening 2 was the letter. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how forgettable opening 2 is. I can't even remember what it was about. But the ending, ending 2 was, oh god, like shit's about to get real. Like if I listen to that ending right now after watching the show, like I will probably cry.
Yeah, ending 2 was pretty sad.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm probably not gonna give like individual ratings for each of these categories. I'll probably just sum it all up at the end. I'm just gonna give my thoughts on what I think about these categories.
So, okay, so then should I hold off my numbers then too?
I mean, if that's how you did it, then yeah, you can do individually.
Yeah, because I gave them individuals. Intro 1 and intro 2 were obviously very different. Mm-hmm. Like you were saying, intro 1, like I was saying before, like if you've seen even one anime and you kind of follow with the community now, you've heard this intro 1,000 times over and over because it's just that good.
I wouldn't say 1,000, maybe more like 100 or 200.
I've definitely listened to it 1,000 times, whether it's on my own or through social media, but I've definitely listened to it 1,000 times.
Well, that's just because you're a weeb.
Yes. I am said man of culture.
We are men of culture. Hentai episode coming out soon.
Yes, coming out soon. To a local theater near you.
To your local channels.
This intro, for me, kind of carried through the entire season. So, I gave the intros a 10, just because it was that good. And, I mean, intro 2 was good. I was gonna give it like a 9.6 or 7, but I was like, you know what? F it, dude. I'm just gonna give it a 10. Like, intro 2 wasn't good, but it wasn't bad enough to completely drag down my rating of the intros. If they went with like a complete like doo-doo like 360 on the intros, then maybe, but it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, see, if I were to give it individual numbers, I don't like throwing out 10s, because right now I only have 2 anime that I have as 10s. And if I were to base the intros like individually, I would like, if I lump them together, it would probably be an 8 or a 9, just because opening 2 is so like forgettable. It's really opening 1 that carries it.
I think they should have stuck with opening 1, in my opinion.
Yeah.
For the entire anime, but opening 2 wasn't terrible, but I feel like I would be doing it dirty if I gave it anything lower than 9.5. But again, that's me. I feel like it. I mean, I lean more towards that intro because it was just, again, so good, and I've heard it a bajillion times, and it just gets better every time you listen to it. But yeah, as for the outros though, they can go burn somewhere. I mean, they weren't terrible, and this, I think I agree with you too. The second one was a lot better than the first outro.
Oh yeah.
That was like, because it's so hard to find shows with good outros. Like,
yeah,
there's only a handful that I can count.
Yeah, I can count with one hand how many outros like I remember and are on my like anime playlist on Spotify.
Yeah, like there's not a lot, and
no.
I mean, sometimes, in those rare cases like Jujutsu Kaisen, like the outro just completely, in my opinion, outshines the intro. But that's again my opinion. But for my rating, I just gave it a 7.9. Like I said, they weren't terrible outros, but they weren't really that.
They were above average.
Yeah, they were above average, but I'm not gonna add them to a playlist. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, big facts. I would probably give them like a 7. Or like a I'll probably give like a mid 7.
Yeah.
Alright.
So what category you want to move on to next?
You wanna talk about story and characters?
Yeah, we can do that.
Alright. I'll start with characters, because if there's one thing that pisses me off, it's characters and dumbasses in these animes. I think.
So you're gonna talk about him.
I'm gonna talk about him. I'm gonna talk about her, and I'm gonna talk about her, and I'm gonna talk about her, and I'm gonna talk about him. So I think the main reason why I didn't grade this anime higher in my final review is because the characters were so wishy-washy. Like, for example, we'll just talk about the mom, for instance. Like, she was presented to us as this, like, mega bitch. This, like, super duper bitch. Like, she fucking beat her son because he messed up, like, one note in a piano. Like, she was that, like, stereotypical Asian parent. Only worse. But the show also wanted us to feel bad for her because of her condition. But like, I just couldn't find the heart to feel bad for her until he played Love Sorrow, like in like the middle of the show, and he like finally was able to say goodbye. Then I started to feel conflicted because it's like, well, damn, like I don't want to feel for this terrible person, but I guess I'm gonna have to. And like that's not the only case. The childhood best friend, for example, like she's introduced as like this like sunny foil to the main character. Like, especially in this show when they focus so much on seasons, like she was like the literal embodiment of summer. But she was also like the most selfish bitch, like towards the middle and towards the end.
Yeah.
So it's like, I really wanted to root for her because we all knew that Carrie was gonna die because they were just beating that on us. It's like, hey, it was like episode 1 or episode 2. It's like, hey, she's gonna die. Just a heads up, don't get attached.
Every episode. It wasn't even that.
That's when it started. It started like episode 1 or 2, and then every episode after that was like, she's gonna die. She's gonna die. She's gonna die. She's gonna die.
It was episode 1 because I told you it was episode 1. Literally right after they meet and she's playing the keyboard, whatever, I don't know the actual word for it, the synthesizer, I guess.
Yeah, something like that.
Right after she was done playing with that, she literally started having like a cough attack and she was crying. So I already knew right off the bat that she had like some kind of terminal illness that was gonna catch up with her at some point in the later episodes. So we knew that. So I really wanted to root for the childhood best friend because, like, if you really think about it, like, she deserves a lot more than what she gets, at least like in the span of the anime. Like, obviously, like I'm pretty sure she gets him in the end. They really alluded to that. But you're talking about Tsubaki. Yeah, Tsubaki, the childhood best friend. But the way she acts during the showtime, during the runtime,
it was like I didn't want to root for her, but I also did. Cause like she just
yeah, they kind of left you.
Yeah, cause like she deserved him, and I'm pretty sure she gets him in the end. Like they left it off on that note. But the way that she acted towards him when he was like, "Oh, by the way, I'm thinking of going to a music school," like instead of being happy for him, she just kicks him in the shin and runs away. Like she was a little definition of a bitch. And while we're speaking of bitches, let's talk about douchebag Kun, aka Watari, the Chad two-timer.
The best one.
He was also wishy-washy like towards the end, because they're all like, oh yeah, like, Watari, he just likes cute girls, like he doesn't really care for Kaori, like he'll probably forget her. But like if you remember that ending scene when what's his name, Arima was reading Carrie's letter, and she was talking, was like, oh, please apologize to Watari for me because I lied about liking him, but I'm sure he'll forget about me soon. That was another lie. Obviously Watari liked Kaori for real.
No, he forgot.
No, he didn't. Do you remember that ending scene when he dropped his phone and there was a picture of him and Kaori as his like screensaver?
Oh no, yeah, he was looking through the pictures, but then he kind of was just like, when he got caught by one of his many lustrous women, he was
don't say lustrous. They're 14. Please don't say that.
Oh, one of his many one of his pool, he was talking about how like, oh, so what if I dated this girl? Like, it doesn't matter. You should have dated me. Like, blah blah blah.
Yeah. So like he
clearly he doesn't care as much as obviously Arima does. But
yeah.
Oh, I think my audio cut out.
Yeah. So he doesn't care as much, but like he still cares about her, because like he visited her like almost every day in the hospital.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that he didn't care. I'm just saying that he was a bit of a d-bag.
Oh, he was 100% a d-bag. Douche-kun.
We don't really. Yeah, he was douche-kun. We don't really appreciate him, but I thought he was going to cause more of an issue than he did.
Oh, yeah.
I mean...
Me too.
He knew... Like, I mean, it was pretty obvious, but he 100% knew that Arima liked
Kaori.
And, yeah. And it was pretty obvious right from the get-go. I mean, there were so many points where they were alone together, and he just, like, would confess himself basically to her in like little bits. And obviously they talk about that because, I mean, if they're quote unquote boyfriend, girlfriend, they're gonna talk. And he just knew. He could just tell that every time they were in the room together, there was a different air.
Yeah.
Like if there was one thing Watari was good at, character wise, it was reading a room.
Oh yeah, he's like, we call him like douchebag Kun and an asshole and a two-timer, but like he's actually a bro. Like he was 100% ready to help out Arima. Like if he actually ballsed up and confessed.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he was even when they're going up to the scene, when they're walking up there before Kaori has her incident, he's even talking about like how, oh, I'm gonna be so excited, like you're gonna challenge me, you're gonna duke it out with me for her love, like whatever. Yeah. Like he was just being a bro about it.
Yeah, exactly. Like he wasn't jealous, he wasn't mad. They were bros. Like that's like a true bro friendship. So that's why another thing about these wishy-washy characters, like they're presented a certain way, but then they also want you to feel a certain way about them. I mean, I enjoy it, but it's a love-hate. I don't even want to get started with the main protagonist because I know you got a few words about him.
Him. But yeah, I mean, it was just like it was a lot. I think I gave the character rating an 8.7, mostly for how they were developed and how they were brought to us as characters.
Yeah.
Not so much what they were doing in the show, but you get to see everything. I mean, the only person we didn't really get a look on was Watari.
Yeah, true.
It was kind of just like Tsubaki, Arima, and Ko, who you really got to, get a deep dive into. And even like you even got a deep dive into the mom's life, into his teacher's life, like.
And don't forget about the piano rivals too. You saw
and the rivals too.
Yeah.
Like, they did a really good job with portraying how they are and who they are as people.
Yeah, I think.
Like I said,
I think I'm with you in that, giving it like a high 8. I don't think I'm gonna give it an 8.7, but probably like an 8.6 or an 8.5.
I just do odd numbers because I like odd numbers better.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you're odd.
Because I'm odd. But yeah, I mean, that's just like it just made more sense to me for that. I don't know why. Like I said, the only character you really didn't get a look at was Utari, but you kind of didn't really have to care about him because you knew where he was, like, right there in that present moment for that show. Like, the only way, like, that I felt bad for Tsubaki is if they built up her backstory with Arima.
Yeah, I mean...
That was the only way that I was really going to feel something for her. Otherwise, she could just enjoy her childhood best friend trope.
Yeah.
But...
gotta look at all those anime tropes.
Yeah,
I mean, Watari is like the only character that's like living in the present, if you notice.
Mm-hmm.
Like every character got backstories and backgrounds, and they were all like reminiscing about their childhood, or like the first time they met Arima. But if you notice, Watari is the only one actually living in the present. Like, he's the only one like driving time forward. So I think that it's good that they did that. So yeah, top tier. Well, he's like an A or B tier character in my opinion. Just because he's a douchebag 2-timer, but he was definitely needed. And then, I mean, I grew to love Tsubaki as the show progressed. I mean, of course I hated her when she was being selfish and was like, "Hey, you're friend A. You're supposed to love me, not her." And like you can tell the jealousy in her eyes. Like she doesn't like music, but she likes Arima.
And I thought that was pretty neat too. Is you get to learn the reason why she doesn't like music.
Yeah. She's
a very, very jealous type. She is, would you call her a tsundere? Is that the right word?
Yeah, I guess you can call her a tsundere. Yeah. Yeah, she's a tsundere. She's
a very, very jealous type person.
But she's also caring, because the reason she doesn't like music is because of what it did to Arima. If you noticed.
I was thinking the other way. I thought that she didn't like music because it took Arima from her.
I think they both had something to do with it.
Because every flashback was, oh, Arima can't come out today, he's got to do this. Oh, Arima's got to practice today, like he can't come out. Like, so she would basically spend time by herself.
Yeah.
And when she's in that choir room, right after, like, she couldn't hang out with Arima, she's like, oh, I hate music, like I'm shutting it out, whatever. But she enjoys it when he's playing.
Yeah. Well, she also didn't like music because of that one concert where he totally freaked out, and then he just couldn't play the piano anymore.
Oh yeah, no. It was a snowball effect.
Yeah. So like Tsubaki grew on me, but she was also a bitch. But she grew on me.
Yeah, she was okay.
Yeah. So like the characters are really what drove this anime, in my opinion.
Yeah, and like we were talking about last night, like I wasn't mad with Tsubaki and Arima being a thing.
Oh yeah,
but
not mad at all.
I really badly wanted to see him, even if he was to just like confess, like just full on, just like throw himself at Neo, like it would have been so much nicer to see that, and then he gets with Tsubaki, because I mean she's gonna die anyways, but
yeah,
like that would have been cool to see. And then the last character that we'll talk about, I mean, we don't really have to go too much into Neo, and she's gonna come up.
Sorry, your mic's
She's gonna come up. Yeah, I can see that. Jesus. With Neo, she's gonna come up a lot more in my other sections that I'm gonna talk about, but just a quick run on her. I absolutely loved her as a character.
Carrie?
She was what the show really needed for me to put it over at least an 8. I mean, she was just everything. She was there. She was the happiness. She was the sadness. She was the musical talent that brought out Arima and brought him back into the light. Like, she was literally everything for every character.
Yeah, they were
I
like
mean,
the missing pieces. Like she was
Yeah.
everything. Like she was built up on a pedestal to be everything, and then that pedestal
And
was
that's
just knocked down at the end.
literally knocked down, swept right underneath her. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'll talk about her more in the other categories too. But that was just my general synopsis on her. I mean, she was just a great character.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind spending this much time on the characters because the characters are what drove this show. Because like, if you think about it, the plot is kind of basic.
Oh, well, you're not gonna like the rating I gave the plot then if you're saying that.
I'm gonna assume you gave it a 10 just because you like throwing 10s out the window.
I gave it close to a 10.
Alright, so probably like a 9.7, 9.9.
9.5.
That was close. Anyway, so do you want to go on with the plot, or do you want to stick with more characters?
Well, that was pretty much all I had for her. I was gonna say a quick word about Arima.
Yeah, say your piece. I know you don't like him.
Yeah, he's just a douche. Like, Watari's a douche in the sense of being a player and messing around with so many girls, but Arima is just he's just a straight up douche. He's a pussy.
Well, I think
Like,
he just falls in the trap that a lot of anime protagonists fall into, where he's just made to be dense. Like, he just does not notice other people's feelings.
right, and I mean, I get that because
Like,
coming from his background, he didn't really have time to socialize. He was pretty much self-dependent on his not self-dependent. He was pretty much dependent on his mom for everything.
Yeah, but now
The only social interactions he had was with his teacher.
But now that you say that, and after we watched everything, he actually went through one of the biggest character developments. That was one of the reasons why I thought like the first half of the show and the second half of the show were completely different animes, was because in the first half it was all about him trying to like make peace with his mom, kind of like him still being in the shadow of his mom, him still having doubts. And then in the second half was more of like a resurgence for him. Like he finally started to play good because he was able to say goodbye.
Yeah, in the second piano tournament arc, he finally started to get himself back together. But I thought it was kind of interesting. His only good piece was the last piece.
No, the waltz he did with Lolicon was pretty good.
Well, was it though?
Yeah, it actually was, because a waltz is a two-person performance, and sometimes the bass line does have to take over. That's how a waltz works.
Well, he didn't just take over. He was destroying her.
Yeah, but it ended up making her performance way better in the end.
Right. So I think I was more impressed with her than I was with him.
I think
with
they
him,
they both deserved it.
I couldn't look at the screen because of how that was going. That was how bad it was. He was starting to just completely take over, go back into his egomaniac ways and stuff. Like, it was just intense. But then she finally started to pick it up, and that's where I liked it, was that he was kind of challenging her to get up to that level, and he knew that she could do it, and she did do it. So I liked her performance more than I liked his performance, just because of that. But they were both good. I just still think he's a douche, and I still don't think that his good. I don't think that was a good performance on his part. I think his best performance from beginning to end, without him being a total wash, was the last performance.
And he almost couldn't go through with it, but it was all thanks to Tsubaki's sneeze that he was able to. Tsubaki is an S tier waifu. A tier. Never mind, I changed my mind. A tier.
I was gonna say S tier.
A tier.
You're all about those tsuneres. Huh?
Oh, I love me and my deres.
But yeah, I mean, he wasn't a bad character, and I liked him as a character. And I really enjoyed his development, and it was cool kind of watching him grow through the season. That's why when you were like, oh, like I seen this from like, this is like 2 different like seasons like put into one, or 2 different arcs put into one. I was like, yeah, but I kind of felt like I grew with him. Like, I feel like there were moments where he turns into a little bit of a Chad, where he starts to
he
confess
has his
himself.
moments. He has his moments where he like steals his resolve.
Right, like he confesses himself a lot when it comes to Neo. It just comes to
who the fuck is Neo? Her name is Carrie something Mio.
I keep saying KO because I can't remember her full name because they called her KO.
You're saying
or whatever.
Neo.
I meant KO. Oops.
Oopsie.
But yeah, with Kaori, like, the entire time he was trying to confess to her, and he just couldn't do it at some points. And then when he finally was ready to confess to her, of course, everything hit the fan.
Yeah.
Literally, shit hit the wall, and it was just a mess.
And Corey, like, he went through that twice. If, like, when you, like, take a step back and think about it. Like, he went through that phase twice. Like, he saw it in his mother, and then we saw it in Kaori. Like, that, and...
Which is what...
I mean, when you think about it, he's still only 14. Like, he is super young for this to be happening to him.
Well, you wouldn't know because of the way they act.
Oh, yeah,
but
true.
Yeah.
They act like they're fucking 20.
Yeah. But, I mean, that too, that kind of got me, is that, oh no, he's going through this again. Like, how is he going to handle it? Because there's a big mental jump and a big, like, difference in how you handle things as an 11-year-old and how you handle them as a 14-year-old.
Yeah, true. I mean, he did freak out a little bit at that performance, but then he started steal himself again, and then he had his last performance because of his like imagery of Kaori. But that part almost got me when he said goodbye, because I was like, God damn it, she's gonna die.
Yeah, that kind of started my downfall.
Yeah, because then when Carrie did die, did you notice how quick it was? Like, it was mid-surgery, mid-performance, and like things looked good, but then you saw that one. It was like a quick, like not even a second. You saw the monitor for the surgeons, and her heart rate dropped by like 3 or 5.
It went from like 89 to like a 75.
Yeah, like it didn't drop a lot, but like it dropped. And that's all you saw. And then he finished the performance. He said goodbye, and then all of a sudden he's at the gravesite. Like it was like boom, boom, boom. It was super fast.
Yeah, it was really quick.
Like, yeah. I mean, I really liked how they did it. Like I guess we'll talk about a little bit of the plot and the storyline, because I was not a huge fan of how they were just beating us over the head with the fact that she's gonna die. They never told us what her illness was. Like, we just assumed it was the same as his mother's. But like, they never like came out and said what she had. They never came out and said how they could fix it. Like, they never really explained it to us. They just kept beating us over the head, over and over. Hey, don't get too attached. She's gonna die. She's gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that they handled her death, I thought was really nice. Like, they didn't make it super dramatic. It was really quick, kind of painless. And then we got the final. We got what's that word called? We got closure when he finally read the letter that she left him.
I didn't get closure. All I got was more sadness.
Well, I got closure, because like those were her final words, basically.
Yes.
Her final words to him, and her final words were, "I love you."
So you're gonna make me cry.
I know. I'm trying to laugh so I don't cry. But
so yeah. So then now moving on to, because we spent a good amount of time on character. Moving on to the plot, since that's what we were hinting at talking about next, I guess.
Yeah.
What did you think about the plot? Because I was thinking about it differently than how you thought about it.
I thought the plot itself was very generic, just because of how they went about it. Like we were giving predictions of like what could happen, but I think deep down we knew exactly what was going to happen. Like, there were no like twists and turns. I think the only surprise maybe was that he didn't make it past the prelims in the first like tournament, the first piano competition. I think that was like the only thing that surprised me. But then again, when I'm looking back in hindsight, it actually doesn't surprise me at all that he didn't make it.
Yeah, none of that really surprised me. When I was looking at the plot, I was looking at it from his point and how he was going to get his piano playing back.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a lot of back and forth with him and his inner conscious and like the shit with his mom and then with Kaori.
Yeah, it was all inner conflict.
Yeah, and I kind of really enjoyed that because, I mean, anybody who's done anything that takes a lot of time to master, everybody's dealt with that.
Yeah.
Maybe not on the level of my mom died and now my love interest is going to die and then she does die, but everybody's dealt with that inner voice or that inner conflict of, well, shit, I can't do this. Like, what am I going to do? Like, somebody help.
Doubt.
Like, I don't know what I'm doing in my life right now. Yeah. Like, I kind of really enjoyed that aspect of it. There was a lot of stuff that everybody can relate to, I felt like, in this anime. Like, there were just so many parts where I didn't feel like I was alone or that the characters were alone. Like, in the set of like like I just said, everybody goes through certain things, and most of these characters like felt like they were supposed to be very relatable to maybe people in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how they kind of felt like they were set up to be like, and I don't know. I mean, I just really enjoyed the plot. I just thought it was good.
Oh yeah, like I'm not dissing really the good plot or anything. Like it was a really enjoyable ride. I'm just saying it was kind of. I mean, it's really hard to tell a new story when,
right.
Especially for someone with a film background like me, like where I've seen this before hundreds of times. Like I've seen pretty much. Yeah. I don't know if one of my friends like copied it, but like when we were like sharing script ideas in classes and stuff, like this was pretty close to Your Lie in April or like whatever they talked about, I forget. So like the story itself is pretty basic. I like the musical aspect of it. I think that really what drives the plot here are the characters and the score or the soundtrack. Like they really help beef up the plot, but the plot, like if you take away the character development and the soundtrack and all the stuff, and you're just presented with the story, like plain as day, like oh, boy meets girl, girl likes boy, but she doesn't tell him, she lies to him, and then boy gets confused, blah blah blah. They play instruments, and then she dies. It's basic. It's super basic. It's super predictable what's gonna happen. That's my only gripe with the plot. But since it has those character developments and it has that score as a base, or not a base, I guess you could. I guess it's like a dish of pasta. All right, this anime is pasta. So you got the noodles, right? That's the plot. Okay. Now you drizzle some sauce, some character development all over. Like you can't just have wet noodles. You can't just have cooked noodles. That's kind of disgusting. Like you need at least something with them, right? So you drizzle some sauce over it, some character development. It's pretty good. Like you can eat that now. But is it enough? No, you want to go further. Throw in some meatballs, some soundtrack, some score, some really intense moments in music. Boom, you got a nice dish. But no, we're not gonna stop there. Drizzle some Parmesan on that. You know what I'm talking about? Some mise en scène, some symbolism. Maybe a little oregano. Now you got a full meal. And that's what this anime is. So I gave the plot a 7. A straight 7. Just because of how predictable it was. I felt like it was above average. You can hate me all you want, but think like it was like the plot in itself, if you take away all that stuff, it's just pasta. It's just cold bread. It's just carbs.
It's just carbs.
It's just carbs, man.
Yeah, I mean, I gave it 9.5 just because I thoroughly enjoyed it. And unlike Moose, who comes from the film background, I'm just looking at it from... I look at every anime as a clean sheet. And I try to look at it like from that standpoint.
Oh, I do too, but I just think of it more in like the technical aspects.
Right.
I look at everything individually, and then I look at it together as one package.
Yeah, I guess that's a good way to say it then.
Like, for example, like when you review a video game, like let's just say Call of Duty, do you look at each individual game mode, or do you just look at the game itself?
I like to think about it sometimes from individual standpoints. So like obviously there's multiplayer, then there's zombies, then there's Warzone. I think all of that kind of bases into an overall opinion on it. So that's where I kind of understand that thought process. But moving on, do you want to group animation and symbolism together? Because I did them separate.
Yeah. Well, we'll just go over it quickly because we're already at like a minute 15 here.
All right. Yeah.
So, for an anime that was produced probably in 2013 and then 2014 and then released, it has its moments. Like there was a budget for this. Like you can tell. Like the animators really put like their time in, and they really took care of this project.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that went into it, and especially for an anime in 2014, like there was a lot of moments where they included, like I was thinking about it last night, it was fluid and then it was back to hard. Then it was back to fluid again and then it would go back to hard.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of transitions and a lot of ways that they played with the animation style that I really, really enjoyed.
Yeah, like it does not hurt the eyes at all. Like you enjoy watching it. Like obviously you're watching it for like the characters and the story, but like, you get that nice little eye candy too. You get that nice garlic bread.
Yeah, it was really good. It was good. It was very nice to watch. It was easy on the eyes. It wasn't crazy. I mean, I'm not a big fan of CGI.
Oh no, CGI always sucks. But the way that they CG'd the piano and the hands, it was actually pretty cool. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I usually stay away from mech animes because I don't like the CGI on the mech animes. But yeah, no, this was really good how they did it, and I don't know. I mean, I can't really think of any other way that they could have done it to make it better. But I mean, they
could have toned down the mouths a little bit. The mouths kind of freaked me out a little sometimes.
Yeah, I think a quarter of the budget went on, their bodies and the sky, the scenery, and everything, and then like 50% of it went to their feet and their lips. And then the other 25% went to the pianos and the CGI.
Feet.
Like it was just
insane.
About the
feet.
It was just insane. It was insane. I couldn't. It was just like they literally. I don't know which, and no kink shaming here on our Men of Culture podcast because we are Men of Culture.
I will shame every kink.
There is an animator who probably loves feet a little too much because they spent a good 5 minutes almost every episode on feet.
Yeah, they were probably sniffing their screens when they were animating them.
Literally. Oh my god. Like, especially the part where Arima's carrying Tsubaki on his back and she's got the ice pack on her foot. Like, bro, I don't want to see your swollen foot, let alone see it for 3 fucking minutes while you guys are talking. I'd rather see you guys monologue than do that. Like, that's just disgusting. Especially when she's running. Like, when she's running away, all they're doing is showing her feet. Like, I don't care about her tootsies, dude.
I don't care about her tootsies.
That's not what I'm here for.
I'm here to watch bitches die, not bitches run.
Yeah, I'm here to cry and watch a bitch die. I'm not here to watch bitches run and show off their bruised feet. But yeah, so that's why I gave the animation an 8.5, because it was really good. But now that we're talking about the animation, I'm thinking about F those feet.
I gave the animation a 8.7 or an 8.8.
Okay.
High 8s.
So then moving on to symbolism, then our last category, because there wasn't a lot. I mean, unless you want to do quote-unquote plot, but I didn't give that category anything because honestly, there wasn't any quote-unquote plot.
Welcome to the dark side. There was no plot. Yeah, but as for symbolism or mise en scène, as filmmakers call it, thank you, Professor. I hate you. There's a lot of it, like the way that like the camera movements, the framing, the whole cat thing, the whole like rising water, drowning aspect. It all connects to one another. And like we can probably go on for another hour or so about the symbolism alone.
Yeah,
but my brain hurts and I don't really feel like talking about it.
Yeah, my quick review on it is I really, really, really loved the symbolism. I gave it a 9.5.
I also gave it a 9.5.
It was beautiful. I mean, the way that they symbolize with him being underwater, being trapped, the cat symbolizing his inner voice, symbolizing her, like that too, that kind of threw me for a loop. Because I thought the cat was supposed to represent him and his loneliness, but it was representing her and her loneliness and her like, and you really caught that when the cat got hit by the car, right after he finds out that she's like basically in ICU.
Yeah,
like that was like, oh shit, the cat was her. Like he was calling to the cat was coming to her, which I should have got, honestly, now that I've looked back on it. Because the very first time we're introduced to her, she's chasing after a cat. Like, she's literally following a cat.
No,
like, for a mile.
No, when we're first oh, wait, yeah, and like the very first...
It's like the first, like, 5-10 seconds is her chasing a cat through, like, the dumpster, through cars, like, stuff like that. So I should have saw that coming, but... Yeah, no, like, that was really good. The way they symbolized her with happiness and peace and... her beauty was through the cherry blossom trees, which was really
the whole
cool.
Seasonal aspect, like the whole season symbols was it just tied together so nicely. Like it was good, and they made it really fluid. Exactly. Like if this anime didn't have all that symbolism and all of this mise en scène and framing and like all this crap, it would not be a high rating on Mal. This would be at least like a 7 if it wasn't for the symbolism, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, just the overall fluidity of the symbolism really worked well. I really just enjoyed every part of it. I mean, I know you enjoyed it because you were telling me, like, oh, you gotta relax, it's not that complex. And I'm like, yeah, I know it's not. I'm just really into the fact that they're portraying these people through different, like, things. Like, I really, really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I did too.
Like, that was cool. So, because you don't get that a lot. And it's gonna be, like you were saying, it's more prevalent in drama animes and sappy love story animes because there's no action. They gotta kind of draw your attention with other things, with other little, like, you know, details and stuff.
I'll admit it. I really prefer like drama animes now over like the isekais and the action shit. I don't want to turn my brain off. I want to use my brain. I want to think. I want to feel. I just want to feel something, Sparky. I just want to feel.
I'm feeling. But yeah, it was good stuff. It was very good. So, to wrap it up, because we are way over the hour mark, what was your final score if you tallied it up? Or what would be your final rating on Your Lie in April?
So...
Also, hold on, before I say that, her lie was the... Just that got me too.
Yeah.
And I knew it was, but I wasn't paying attention, I guess, to the season they said it. So it was literally her lie to Watari and to Sparky in April.
Yeah, and to Watari as well. It was,
that pissed me off. Did I say Watari? I thought I said Watari.
You said Tsubaki.
Oh, I thought I said Watari before that. I might have cut out.
Probably.
But yeah, that was just like, that was insane to me. I mean, I had a feeling that she was doing it just to get to him because, I mean, she let us know right off the rip that she was very much into him. But, oh my god. And her love letter.
Yeah, that's when you cried. I heard you sniffle.
Shut up.
Yeah, and talk about, like, diverging expectations. because I think it was in episode like 3 or 4 or maybe even 5 when they were alone in the piano room or something. She was talking about, like, oh, like you need to like lie about your imagery or something like that. You need to lie about something.
Yeah, so that's what I thought it was about.
I was like, oh, Your Lie in April is about like him playing, like him like lying through the piano or something like that. Like he has to lie his way, he has to like lie to himself in order to play. Like I thought that's what it was about. And then of course at the end in the letter it's like, oh, sorry, I lied to you. I didn't like Watari. I loved you. And then it was like, God damn it.
And that's when I cried. It was slowly building up. What got me when I started was it started building up when she was talking about watching him for the first time, and then you see the girl with the pigtails crying next to her.
Emmy?
Yeah, which I wish I could go back and see. I didn't know that was her in dance. When they first showed that.
I think they only showed a close-up of Emmy, so you couldn't really see.
Yeah, because they showed her crying, but I didn't see her. So that would be pretty hilarious.
Yeah, but, we'll have to go back and watch.
Yeah, but I'm not watching the whole
thing. No, just that episode.
Yeah. Just that episode.
Just that part.
But yeah, like, when that was going on, I was kind of like, oh boy, here we go. And then it really hit me when she was talking about feeling alone, when she was talking about being in the same same junior high that he was in, and she had the glasses, she had her hair put up, which by the way she could pull that off.
S-tier waifu.
Yeah, and I started losing it. I was like, oh my god, she's been following him for this long.
Stalker much?
Like they ended like junior high, or they ended that semester, I guess, right around the time where she started being friends with him. So she's had her eye on him for a long time. And then she finds out that she's terminally ill. And then she was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get him. Because
talk about real resolve.
I have
to. She had more balls than Arima and Watari combined.
She had more balls than most anime protagonists.
She has more balls than me.
And me.
Combined.
Like, it was just like that's what broke me. And then I was like, all right, I can rein myself back in. And then she started saying I love you, and I was like,
yeah.
It just started all over again.
As soon as like the ending credits started rolling, I was like, hey Sparky, you good? You want to talk about it, buddy? And I just hear dead silence for like 30 seconds, then give me a minute. I was like, okay, take all the time you need.
I had to blow my nose. It was a good ugly cry. I enjoyed that.
You're making me feel like a monster because I didn't really cry. Like I teared up, I swelled up, my face leaked, but I did not cry. No.
My face was due for it. I was red. My head hurt from how many tears I was holding back. Like,
my heart ached. Like my chest was in pain watching like the build up. I will admit that. Like I felt so sorry for all these characters.
Yeah,
and, like, just the fact that like an anime could do that, just like really solidifies like how great this show really is. If you think about it.
Yeah.
So going on to the final verdict, I'm a little conflicted because I really want to give it a 10, but I don't want to just. It feels like giving it a 10 is a cop out. Like yeah, the show is really great, but do I think it's a masterpiece? It's close to it. And I really wish Mal did like points, because I would give this like a low to mid 9. But if I round it down, it's a 9 for me on Mal.
Yeah, if I was to go off my ratings, it sits at like an 88, 89 right now. But because it made me cry, I bumped it up to a mid-tier 9, like a 9.5, 9.6. So on Mal, I gave it a 10, just because it made me cry.
See,
I don't want it sitting there in my 9s, because none of those 9s made me cry. None of those 9s, like, they're really great animes, but none of the 9s actually got me to break down like that.
One of my 9s did, which was Assassination Classroom Season 2, because I cried a little at that. and my only 10s that I have, like I did cry when I finished them, but they also made me feel something. Like they left me with something. I didn't really get that with this show, with Your Lie in April. Like I'm I'm a musician. Well, I kind of like I play the drums. Like, and I used to go to like singing competitions when I was in high school. And like I know like how like stressful and how time consuming and cutthroat it can be. And like I did resonate with that during Your Lie in April, but for some reason like it didn't fully connect with me. Like it didn't make me feel something. Like it didn't give me something. Yeah. So like I really want to give it a 10 because I feel like the show and the producers and the animators deserve it. They deserve praise. Like everyone should watch this at least once in their lives.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
But giving it a 10 feels like a cop out for me. It's like, oh yeah, it made me cry. Here, give it a 10. But I'm okay with giving it a 9 or like a mid 9.
I'm giving it a 10.
Yeah.
I have to. I saved 10 specifically for the ones that make me tear jerk.
I only have 2 10s.
Now I have 3.
Well, maybe one day I'll get a third 10, but we'll see. We'll see about that.
Well, we still haven't watched my 2 10s, so
true.
Maybe we'll go back and watch them.
I kind of want to show you my other 10, but I don't think you'll get the same resonance that I did with it. Because
perhaps I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah, because you're not really big into music. It's K-On! Season 2, by the
Yeah.
way. I fucking love K-On! Season 2.
Alright, well.
Anything else you want to say about Your Lie in April besides go watch it right now and make sure you bring tissues?
Yeah, I loved it. Bring tissues. It was a really great anime. Kudos to the studio who made it. In my eyes, you have created a masterpiece that not only will hold value in 20, 30 years down the line, but will just forever be ingrained into my head.
My men?
My men. Into my head. It will be forever ingrained into my head. And that's pretty much it. Just watch it.
Yeah.
That's I mean our reviews are not spoiler free, so I would hope that most people watch the anime when they check this out. But if you came here and didn't watch like the anime, what the hell are you doing?
We probably should have done a spoiler at the beginning. I mean,
Well,
that's kind of a given. Like if you
yeah,
listen to this entire podcast and you haven't seen it and you knew that we were talking about this, you're an idiot. Sorry.
Well, it is a review,
Yeah.
so with a review comes spoilers. So if you didn't know you were gonna get spoilers, then shame on you. But
You come into my house, spoil my anime.
yeah, seriously. But yeah, I mean, even if you watch the podcast and you've seen it, and you've been trying to get some of your friends to watch it, tell them to watch it. This is a really, really good quality anime, and
Watch it with the homies. Actually, no, don't.
Yeah, watch it with the bros.
Well, I mean, we did watch it with the bros for that one episode, and they kind of ruined it.
Yeah, but definitely gather your actual true anime buds together. Gather your fellow weebs.
Weebs
sit down
unite.
in a room.
Rise up,
weebs unite. All you little men of culture, grab your tissues, watch the anime, sit down, have a good night, and drink some buds because you're gonna need it.
Unless you're underage, then don't do that.
Yeah, if you're underage, then don't do that. Drink some apple juice.
Drink some moo moo milk.
But drink some moo moo milk, yeah. Moo moo milk, and what was the other one? Camellies?
Canelles.
Yeah, that. So.
Canelles.
But you got anything, Moose, to say to the boys?
I mean,
and women.
Okay, let's be honest.
To the men and women. Hey, man, you never know.
Okay, yeah, well, we'll find out later. But I mean, I feel like I've said my piece. Like this show, bless you. This show is as close to a masterpiece as it can get. I really do want to give it that masterpiece title, but there is something holding it back. But that's just me looking at it from a certain lens. So like, if I was a more casual fan, I would probably give this a 10. But coming from a film background, seeing all this stuff, I give it a 9. Just because of the plot is basic. But, I mean, I really think people should watch this. Like, even if, like, you're not into anime, like, even if, like, you just, like, yeah, even if you hate anime, you should give this a try. Like, you should definitely watch this. I'm not saying it's going to change your life, and I'm not saying it's going to hook you on anime, but, like, everyone can resonate, at least to a certain degree, with this show. Like, everyone can get something from this show. I just happen to get very little from it. So,
yeah, this isn't like an 8, or in my eyes, this isn't an 8 where it's like...
So yeah, like, add it to your list, but like, watch it on your own time. This is like, you should watch this. Like, we really recommend you watch this.
Yeah, I gave it a 10 for a reason. Like, you should really watch it. Yeah. And I've been putting this off for 3-4 years now to watch this, and I wish I had watched it sooner, but I'm glad I didn't, so we could have reviewed it.
Yeah, me too. So I guess our final verdict would be a 9.5 if you gave it a 10. And
I was going to say, we'll settle in the middle. We'll give it a 9.5.
Yeah, so the Bakas rate Your Lie in April a 9.5.
And that's all for our Bakas Watch podcast today. Next week, we're going to have to figure out what anime we want to watch.
Definitely not something sad. Like, we should watch either something wholesome or something funny.
I want to watch something so bad but so good.
Oh, Kiss Sis.
So I think we'll... Wait, hold on.
We'll get to that later.
Did I send that to you last night?
I think I sent that to you.
Because I literally added that on my list like 2 days ago.
Yeah, because I sent it to you.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
Check your inbox.
Then. Oh, maybe we'll watch Kisses.
No, we're not going to watch that. I refuse to. But we're going to watch something funny. We're going to watch something that we can turn our brains off and still enjoy.
Yeah. Something lighthearted, something that won't make me cry again, because I can't.
We gotta save that for like once a month. I don't want to cry 4 times a month. I only want to cry once a month.
And make sure you're on the lookout for a new series that's gonna be.
Oh yeah, we have so many projects in the works. I'm actually really excited.
So am I. We got a lot coming. So make sure you guys look out for that. Follow us on the Twitter, right? I'm gonna set it up today. It's gonna be Baka's Watch, and it's gonna be Baka's Watch podcast. I'll set that up. And
you're in charge of all the social media.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I can do that.
All right.
So then, just give it a follow, give it a look-see, and I guess we'll talk to you guys next week.
Thank you for watching. I'm Moose.
I'm Sparky.
You can do better than that.
It cut out.
Yeah, it's the first one. Please don't yell at us.
I'm Sparky!
And we'll see you next time on Baka's Watch. Goodbye.
Bye-bye!